But here's what I want you to know. Those leg cramps aren't just random. They're a message, a gentle nudge from your body, asking you to pay attention. And the good news, there are simple, natural things you can do starting tonight that make a real difference. So if this experience sounds familiar, stay with me. I want to walk you through the quiet changes that have helped many of my patients find peace at night. Let's begin together. Part 1. The forgotten role of sleep position, where pain begins. You might not expect it, but one of the most common causes of nighttime leg cramps has nothing to do with medications or nutrition. It starts with how you position your body in bed. Let me ask you this. How often do you think about the angle of your knees or the way your legs rest when you lie down? Most people don't give it a second thought. But as we get older, our joints stiffen, circulation slows, and muscles become more sensitive to even the slightest tension. And that quiet pull or twist in your legs while you sleep, it can silently build all night until your nervous system can't take it anymore and jolts you awake in pain. I remember a patient, Evelyn, 74 years old. She came to me exhausted from weeks of leg cramps. We adjusted her sleep position, just a small pillow between her knees and one under her calves. Within 5 days, she reported her first full night of rest in weeks. Here's what I've learned from patients like Evelyn when the body is misaligned during sleep, especially in the hips and legs. Certain muscle groups are forced to stretch or contract for hours without relief. Over time, this strain becomes a trigger. If you sleep on your side, placing a pillow between your knees can help keep your spine and hips aligned. For back sleepers, a pillow under the knees takes pressure off the lower back and softens the tension in your calves. This small habit, repeated night after night, doesn't just prevent cramps, it restores comfort to the entire lower body. Think of it as giving your legs the support they give you all day long. And if you also suffer from lower back pain or restless hips, this one adjustment might ease more than you expect. Sometimes, the path to better sleep begins not in the pharmacy, but in the way we simply lay ourselves down. Part 2. Magnesium in the skin, not just the stomach. Now let's talk about something I wish more doctors mentioned: magnesium. Not the kind you swallow, but the kind you rub directly onto your skin. You see, magnesium plays a crucial role in helping our muscles relax. It acts like a gentle off switch after your muscles contract. Without enough of it, your muscles may remain tight, jumpy, and prone to cramping. Many people try to fix this by taking magnesium pills. But here's the catch, especially for those of us in our 60s and beyond. Our digestive systems don't always absorb supplements as efficiently as they once did. Some of my patients have taken magnesium for months with no change until they tried applying it topically. That's when things began to shift. I think of Gerald, a soft-spoken man in his late 70s who came to me frustrated. He'd been waking up 4 or 5 times a week from severe leg cramps. We talked through his habits, and I suggested he try magnesium oil. He was skeptical, but he agreed. After 5 nights of applying a few sprays to each calf before bed, he came back with a quiet smile. "I think I slept straight through," he told me. There's actual research behind this too. A 2019 study from the University of Sheffield showed that older adults who applied magnesium chloride to their legs at night had fewer and milder cramps without any digestive side effects. That's important, especially if you're already managing other medications or sensitive stomachs. So how do you use it? Just 30 minutes before bed. Spray or pour a small amount about the size of a coin into your palm. Gently massage it into the areas that usually cramp. If it tingles slightly at first, don't worry, it usually fades after a few uses. Think of it as a quiet ritual, your hands soothing your muscles, your breath slowing down, and your body preparing for the deep rest it deserves. Give it at least a full week. Real change doesn't always happen overnight, but with patience, many people find that magnesium becomes a quiet, dependable friend, restoring calm to legs that have carried us so far. Part 3. Salt, a little pinch, can make a big difference. For years, we've been told to fear salt. Cut it out, they say. It raises your blood pressure. And yes, in excess, that's true. But here's what we don't hear enough. Too little salt, especially as we age, can quietly become just as dangerous. Salt, or more specifically sodium, is an essential electrolyte. Your body needs it to send electrical signals between your nerves and muscles. Without it, those signals can get jumbled. And when that happens, muscles misfire. They twitch, they cramp, often in the middle of the night when everything else is still. I remember a woman named Teresa. She was in her early 80s, very health conscious. She'd cut out almost all salt from her diet to protect her heart. But in doing so, she also eliminated one of the very minerals her muscles depended on. She started waking up with painful leg cramps. When we gently reintroduced a small pinch of sea salt into her evening soup, just enough to restore balance, those nightly cramps began to ease. Here's the thing, your body only needs about 500 milligrams of sodium per day to support basic muscle and nerve function. That's roughly a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. But in trying to be extra careful, many seniors remove salt altogether, especially when paired with diuretics or excessive water intake. That can lead to a condition called hyponatremia, or low sodium in the blood, a condition that often hides behind symptoms like fatigue, confusion, and yes, muscle cramps. Now, I'm not telling you to start salting everything on your plate, but if you've been avoiding all salt and still experiencing cramps, this could be a missing piece of the puzzle. Here's a simple step: add just a pinch of sea salt to one meal a day, preferably in the evening. Then, listen to your body. Notice if the cramps lessen. Notice if your sleep feels less interrupted. And of course, if you're managing high blood pressure or kidney issues, speak to your doctor first. But if you've gone too far in cutting back salt, you may find that a small return to balance helps not just your legs, but your overall energy. Sometimes healing isn't about taking more things away. It's about giving your body exactly what it needs and trusting it to respond. Part 4. Too much of a good thing. Rethinking how we drink water. Drink more water. It's advice we've heard for decades. And yes, staying hydrated is important. But what if I told you that too much plain water, especially at the wrong time of day, might actually be making your nighttime leg cramps worse? I know that sounds surprising. Water is supposed to help, not hurt, but our bodies aren't just tanks we fill with liquid. We're delicate systems that rely on a balanced fluids and minerals working in harmony. When we drink large amounts of plain water, especially in the evening, we can unintentionally dilute essential electrolytes like sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. These minerals are what help our muscles contract and relax properly. Without them, even if you're hydrated, your muscles may misfire. That's when the cramps creep in. Let me share a story. Harold, 76, was doing everything right, 8 glasses a day. No added salt, even sipping water throughout the evening. But he kept waking up with painful calf cramps. We took a closer look and realized he was overhydrating. We made one small change, cutting back water after 7 per mm and adding a pinch of mineral-rich salt to his afternoon drink. Within days, his cramps became less frequent and his sleep more peaceful. There's research to support this too. A study published in BMJ Open Sport and Exercise Medicine found that athletes who drank only plain water and sweated heavily were more likely to cramp than those who replenished with balanced fluids. Now, you may not be running marathons, but if you're taking diuretics, spending time in warm weather, or drinking a lot of water without electrolytes, your body may be out of balance. So what can you do? First, listen to your thirst instead of chasing a number. That old 8 cups a day rule, it's outdated. Sip water gradually throughout the day, and try to stop drinking large amounts 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This will not only help with cramps, but may also reduce nighttime trips to the bathroom. Second, consider adding a small pinch of sea salt or an electrolyte powder to your midday glass of water, just enough to bring minerals back into balance. Our bodies are wiser than we give them credit for. They don't just need more, they need the right kind of more. Let hydration be thoughtful, not just plentiful, because even water in excess and without balance can wash away the very minerals your muscles cry out for. Part 5. Stretching, the quiet ritual that rewires your muscles. Now, let's talk about something so simple that many people dismiss it before even trying stretching. No pills, no equipment, just you, your body, and a few quiet moments throughout the day. I've had patients roll their eyes when I suggest it, Doc. I need real help, not some yoga class, but then they try it. And a week or two later, they come back softer, calmer, sleeping better. Their legs feel lighter. Their nights aren't haunted by those sharp cramps. Because here's the truth, stretching works. As we age, our muscles naturally shorten and tighten. Add to that long hours of sitting, reduced mobility, certain medications, or even past injuries, and the muscles of our legs become like rubber bands pulled too tight. One sudden movement in the night, and snap, the cramp strikes. But stretching isn't just about loosening muscles, it's about retraining your body. It calms your nervous system, teaches your muscles a gentler rhythm, and restores communication between your brain and the parts of you that carry your weight every day. There was a gentleman I used to see named Walter, 81 years old. He'd lost his wife a few years prior and told me he barely moved around anymore. When the cramps started, they felt like punishment. I gently introduced him to a few stretches seated hamstring reach, calf raises at the kitchen counter, a quad stretch holding onto the bedpost, 3 times a day. I said, just 5 minutes. He resisted at first, but something about those slow, deliberate movements began to soothe not only his legs, but his heart. A few weeks later, he smiled and into deep healing. Let me tell you something I've seen over and over in my years of practice. Most people don't need dramatic overhauls to feel better. What they need is rhythm. A gentle, daily rhythm that teaches the body to feel safe again, especially at night. When we're younger, our muscles and nerves recover easily. But as we age, the communication between brain and body becomes more delicate. The circuits that tell your legs to relax at night don't always fire the way they used to. That's why these small habits we've been talking about, adjusting your sleep position, applying magnesium, allowing some salt back in, balancing your water intakes, and stretching aren't just tips. They're messages to your nervous system. Messages that say you can calm down now, you're taken care of. I think of the body like an old friend who's been carrying your burdens for decades, and now it's asking for something quieter, something slower. Not medication, not punishment, just a little more kindness in the way you move, sleep, eat, and hydrate. The truth is, leg cramps are rarely about one single cause. They're about imbalance in minerals, in movement, in rest. When all of those get slightly off track, your muscles become confused. They react with tension, with pain, with sudden spasms in the dark. But the good news is, the body remembers how to heal. It responds beautifully to consistency. I had a patient once who wrote down her new bedtime routine on a sticky note and kept it on her nightstand. It read pillow, oil, salt, water, stretch, breathe. That was it. Every night. She followed that list. After 3 weeks, she told me she hadn't had a single cramp. And more than that, she felt like she was back in charge of her sleep again. So I say this to you, gently and sincerely, don't expect overnight miracles. Expect quiet progress. Try one change at a time. Give it a few weeks. Let your body learn this new rhythm, and trust that the same legs that wake you up in pain can also lead you back to peace. Because healing isn't loud, It's steady, and it starts with small acts of care, repeated day after day. Let's take a breath together. We've walked through a lot tiny adjustments that may seem simple on their own, but together they form something far more powerful, a routine of care. A pillow placed with intention, a few sprays of magnesium gently rubbed into tired calves, a mindful pinch of salt in your evening broth, a quiet decision to sip water with balance, and the slow, kind stretches that whisper to your muscles, "You're safe now." These aren't just remedies. They're acts of love toward a body that has carried you through decades of life, through work, through raising families, through loss and laughter and change. And now, in this chapter, your body is asking for a different kind of strength, a quieter strength, a patient one. You do not have to accept painful nights as the price of aging. You don't have to dread bedtime or brace for that jolt of pain in the dark. You have tools. You have choice. And above all, you have hope. I've seen so many people, just like you, turn things around with these gentle steps, not because they chased a miracle, but because they committed to small, thoughtful shifts in how they care for themselves. So if tonight your legs still ache, don't lose heart. Begin again tomorrow. Healing doesn't come with noise or speed. It comes with kindness and consistency. And if this message speaks to something inside you, I'd love to hear your story. Leave a comment, share what's helped you, or simply let someone else know they're not alone. You deserve peaceful, cramp-free nights, and you're far closer to them than you might think. Take care, my friend. I'll see you in the next video.